Konnichiwa. Let's go to Japan. Well, I did. This summer I went back to Japan, my fifth trip, first time in 20 years. Of course, thinking like an old person who hadn't been to Japan in 20 years, I went out and bought a Lonely Planet book. Still love Lonely Planet, but now you just need apps. So a lot changed on this trip to Japan. The designer of this game, Josh Wood, during the fungus, was supposed to go to Japan, and because of the pandemical, was unable to. So he turned his planning of his trip to Japan into a game. I had wanted to play this for a while, being that I do love Japan. I hadn't thought about going back to Japan. I always thought about going back to Japan. I didn't think it would be a reality until about the spring of last year, when we first started thinking about going back to Malaysia, where Mrs. Shogenstein is from, and then we added on Singapore and then 8 days in Japan. But I wanted to play this game for a while. I held out. I really did try to find the used copy. I know there's a Kickstarter edition, just hoping to find that. And I looked for a while and could not find it. So I broke down and bought a retail edition off Amazon. We're unfortunately losing one of our best friendly local game stores here in the Phoenix area. So not a lot of game stores out here in the west side of Phoenix. So if you're thinking of opening a game store here in the west side of Phoenix, there's certainly a market for it. But we are going to miss the great Imperial Outpost Games out here in the Phoenix area, best game store ever. So I ended up having to get this off Amazon. I really like to buy my games used. And again, I was hoping to find a Kickstarter or some sort of advanced edition. Ended up getting the retail. So I had to plan a trip to Japan. Spent a lot of time doing it over the spring. I had been there 4 times before, but it had been 20 years. Mrs. Shogenstein, other than a transit to Narita, had never been there, and Little Shogenstein had never been there. So I had to plan a trip for a guy like me who's been there multiple times, but hadn't been there in a while. Wanted to go see some things again, see some things I hadn't seen, and balance that with Mrs. Shogenstein having never been there, basically, other than that stop at the airport, and Little Shogenstein having never been there. So this whole theme of planning a trip to Japan is kind of near to my heart. Again, I had a Lonely Planet book because I'm thinking like the tourist from 1996. Everything was apps now, and maybe I'll do another video on how different it was this trip. But I guess quick shout out to all those couple big YouTube channels that really helped me out on this trip, because there were a lot of things. Again, I was thinking like 1996, like I'm going to go up to Kyoto Station and just get a ticket onto the Shinkansen and go where I'm going to go. It was very, very different, a lot more crowded, and just everything. You basically got to do everything online, everything from Suica cards to booking your Shinkansen online to tickets to Shibuya. So it was a very different experience. But this idea of planning a trip to Japan, which he was going to do before the pandemical hits home, I had to plan 8 days. We ended up going to Tokyo for 8 days and the Kyoto area for 4 days. Oh, sorry. We were in Tokyo 4 days, Kyoto area 4 days, total of 8 days. Flew into Narita, flew out of Kansai, hit Singapore. So looking here at the box, you got some really cool art. And again, you got some of the highlights here. Mount Fuji, where we didn't go. You got your Shinkansen, which we did from Tokyo to Kyoto, and then Kyoto to Himeji. And again, very different experience from previously. My previous times, remember buying a ticket at the ticket office, forget it, the line. If you do that now, the line was like a movie theater line wrapped around. So you want to do your stuff online. I had it on an app, had all my Shinkansen tickets. You got the geisha. I'm assuming that's going to be Gion in Kyoto. Again, another big change. When I was there in 96, 98, actually saw geisha in the Gion. This time I saw a lot of Chinese tourists dressed up as geisha, but no real geisha. The Golden Pavilion in Kyoto, beautiful, beautiful place. Unfortunately, when we did this trip, it was raining. That was the one time during the trip there was like a downpour right at the Golden Pavilion. But great thing to go see in Kyoto. You got the skyline of Tokyo. So very cool art. You got all kinds of good food here. So Again, like the theme, got Tokyo Skyline here. So you're going to be doing some drafting, and you're going to be building your trip. You got a few days of a trip, certain things you want to hit. Maybe you decide to go for a walk like I did. Our hotel was by Ueno Park, and in the morning I got to do these beautiful walks in Ueno. So this game has a multiplayer mode and a solo. So here's the rule book. I heard the scoring at the end is a little wonky, but the overall rules don't look that bad. Speaking of Ueno Park, there we go. Look at that. Got to walk around this lake. Love the Ueno Park. Didn't have the cherry blossoms, though. We were there in June. So, yeah, went to Ueno, went to the temple, Akihabara, of course, Imperial Palace, went to Shibuya. Didn't do Tokyo Tower, didn't do the market, but hit the Imperial Palace. Had a beautiful tour. Again, maybe I'll do another video where I'll give a shout out to the wonderful tour guide we had in the Imperial Palace. Well, we didn't go into the palace, but on the grounds and in the gardens. Akihabara, of course, for your stuff, anime, electronics, computers. Went to a game store there. Of course, the beautiful temple. And I just love the Ueno Park. What a great... So if you're going to stay in Tokyo, we were right between Ueno Park and Akihabara, right in the middle. We were able to take a high-speed train out of Narita right to Ueno Park, walk like 10 minutes to the hotel. Perfect location. Really recommend the Ueno Park area. All right, mood tracker. So we got that kind of stuff. So again, you're planning your trip. And this is something I can relate to because, again, we had 8 days to play with. You got to, land, and you got to move luggage, and you got to catch trains and get around. There's a lot to do when you're planning. Again, very different today. So I was made fun of, rightly so, by a good friend of mine, former traveler to Japan, when he said, so he had the Lonely Planet book. What are you, 1996? Yes, a very different experience here. You got your Shinkansens. So, cool theme. We're going to open up the cards. We'll learn how to play. Let you know what we think. But we really did love Japan. So, looking forward to getting into the mood of that trip. And I want to go back. That's when you know it's a good vacation. When you did 8 days and you didn't go like, yeah, I stayed 1 day too long. No, I was like, I need another 2 or 3 days in Japan. We did Tokyo, Himeji, Little Shogunstein, Miss Shogunstein did Nara, Osaka. Great time. So let's go to Japan. AEG Games. This is the retail edition. Shogunstein out.